Hey, I want to talk about something, and it's something that every single one of us experiences every single year, and it's this. We get into this time of year, we get into the holidays, and we find that we're eating more, maybe we're drinking more, maybe we're scrolling more. We find that these habits, these behaviors we don't want to exhibit, these things we've defined as not okay, we find that we're doing them more. And I want to talk about that because there's a reason for it. And oftentimes what happens is people do this and then they beat themselves up, and then it creates more shame and blame and actually creates a lot of emotion that we want to run away from. And then we do more of these things that we don't want to do. It is a vicious cycle. And I want to talk to you about how to stop it. So before we get into that, let me talk a little bit about the problem, right? This is a crazy busy time of year. I don't have to tell you that, but just to lay out the facts, right? We've got holiday stuff, we've got travel, we've got holiday parties, we've got children's concerts, we've got charity events, right? We have all of these different things happening. And so what happens is we get stressed out. Time becomes scarce. We start to get stressed. Oh, I got to get this stuff ready. Oh, I got to get this ready for that. I got to go there. I got to go there. I got to go there, right? We start doing this and like really pushing ourselves. And then what starts to happen is we start to notice these behaviors that we don't normally like, man, I feel like I'm comfort eating. Or I know for me around the holidays, I always drank a lot, but around the holidays, it ticked up a little bit. Another one, which is something I talk to and work with people a lot on is phone usage. And people find that they're like looking at social media more, and they're like their phone's even more glued to their hand than usual. So what is going on here? Well, what's happening here is there's a lot of inputs, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot going on. And so this stuff is happening and it's making us feel uncomfortable. And these behaviors, right? Eating, drinking, scrolling, these are ways that we have to self-soothe. They might not be the most well-adapted ways of self-soothing, but it's what we got. And so what I like to do this time of year is really kind of shine a spotlight on, okay, this is what's going on. And this is the important part. This is what's going on, and it's okay. See, what happens is we get into this mode and we get really stressed and we get really moving and we just start doing these maladaptive behaviors because it feels like the only thing we can do, because it's what we've always done. And so then we suddenly realize then we do something like, what the hell is wrong with me, right? Why did I do that? Why did I go in that direction? Why did I drink that extra drink? Why did I have all of those cookies? Why did I just waste 2 hours on Instagram? And we get upset. Now, here's the thing, and this is the trap, and this is why it's a spiral downward. We get upset and we start feeling and experiencing emotions we don't want to experience. And because of that, we start reaching for the maladaptive behaviors again, right? So I see this with drinking all the time. Someone's like, all right, I'm going to drink less this holiday season. And then they go to a holiday party, and before they know it, they've had more than they wanted to. And then the next day they wake up and they just beat themselves up and they feel like shit and they feel guilty and they feel sad. And guess what happens when we feel guilty and sad? We are much more likely to do these coping behaviors. And so this is how it goes, right? This is like emotional regulation 101. Stress leads to comfort behaviors, and it's not a cognitive process, right? It's not necessarily something where you're like, gee, I am really stressed out right now. I think I will go do this thing that I said I didn't want to do. We don't do that. That's not how it works. What happens is the emotion comes up, it comes into our experience, and before we know it, we're engaging in the behavior. So I want to offer something that can like really, really help. And it's going to help with this overwhelm, and it can help you not spiral out of control. And it's this: what you are doing is normal. It's normal. If you feel really stressed and you're eating more, if you find yourself drinking more, if you find yourself scrolling more, that's normal, right? It is the time of year that this happens. So don't judge yourself for doing it, right? This is a normal stress response. In the same way that, like, if you were to, walk up a flight of stairs and your heart beats faster, it's just a physiological response to the physical action that you're taking. These behaviors, right? They are the sort of emotional or response to, a difficult time of year when everyone expects stuff from you, when everyone needs stuff from you, when you don't get space for yourself. So the very first thing you can do is just recognize the fact that you're doing it and let yourself know it is okay. It is okay that I'm feeling this way, right? That's step one. And then step two is just to take a pause and make a decision on what you're going to do instead of going into autopilot. Because this is where we can go off road really, really quickly. Is like we're stressed out or we're angry or whatever. And before you know it, the phone's out and we're just scrolling away. When we feel that urge, and this takes some practice, right? When we feel that emotion and then we feel that urge to escape it or get away from it, just pause. Give yourself 5 minutes. You know what? I'll see if I still want to scroll in 5 minutes, but right now I'm going to go for a walk. I'll see if I still want to go get that drink in 5 minutes, but right now I'm going to play this video game with my son, right? Whatever it is, give yourself that pause and you're going to be massively surprised at what happens. So if you find yourself doing this holiday season, I want you to let yourself off the hook. I want you to remind yourself it is totally normal that I'm reaching for these comfort behaviors in these difficult times. And if you allow yourself to do that and then allow yourself some space to pause and not move on autopilot, you're going to be shocked at how differently this holiday season turns out.